There's always been this odd gap to me in eBird. On hotspots, you could see checklists and species reported at that hotspot, but there was hardly any information about the hotspot itself outside of location. Well, I am so happy to report with the new features released in eBird, that has been solved, or at least it's going to be solved soon. Let's talk about it. The specific feature release that I'm talking about, as you could probably tell from the title, is the community-sourced hotspot descriptions, or basically an about page. This also came with the release of hotspot groups, but I'm going to focus on the about page in this video. We're going to cover this brand new feature, and I'm going to actually show you a live demo of me editing a hotspot that I know very well and adding some information to it to illustrate that community-sourced aspect. Now, I have been wanting this feature for a long time. If you don't believe me, I posted a video on December 19th, 2024, wishlist item number 2, and this is a thing that I want implemented more than anything else. So please, Cornell Lab, if you're watching this video, hotspot reviews and information. So yeah, you could totally say that I'm very excited that eBird came out with this video, and I like to think they saw my YouTube video and decided to make a change, though that's probably not what really happened. Just so you know, I am going to pull a lot of my information about this new feature from eBird's own website page, and I have to give a huge shout out to Doug Hitchcox. I watched his video about this feature that goes really in depth into it, and it was actually how I learned about the feature myself. So after you're done watching this video, I would encourage you to go check out Doug's video because he goes really in depth and he has a lot of experience as an eBird reviewer himself. Here, I'm going to cover the feature real quickly and show you a demo like I mentioned. So let's get right into it. So on eBird, if you're looking at a given hotspot, at least on eBird's website, the desktop version, not the mobile version, if you click on the hotspot, you'll notice a page on the left-hand side called About. Click that page and you're going to be presented with information about that hotspot, assuming it's been filled in, of course. There's 3 sections here: plan your visit, how to bird here, and about this place. Now, these sections can kind of seem very similar, at least they did to me at first. So eBird provides a nice little question mark that you can hover over and click it, and it'll describe to you what each of these sections are meant to be used for. So the plan your visit section is everything you need to know before you go. This section is going to have logistical information such as parking, restrooms, stuff like that. How to bird here is all about tips and strategies for birding and getting the most out of a given location. It might include some species you might want to keep your eye out for too. And then the last section is about this place. This gets a little broader and might go outside of birding experience specifically, so you can learn maybe a little bit more about the history of the place or how it was formed and came to be. And yeah, you'll find that information in that section. The other great thing is a quick glance set of features. That's over on the right-hand side of the page currently. This has information about if the access is restricted, if there's seasonal access, entrance fees, restrooms, parking, accessibility features, observation structures. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what that means. If a scope is recommended, that's a really cool one. If you're able to bird from the car, and then if it's beginner friendly. So this information all sounds great, but if you've been birding and using eBird for a while, you're going to naturally ask the question, is this all already filled in? I mean, there's hundreds of hotspots just in my local area of Salt Lake. The answer is likely no. Every hotspot is not going to have information at this point, and it's going to be slowly sourced from the community over time. So this content is going to take the wiki-style approach. That means anyone can suggest edits to a given hotspot. And the more information people are suggesting and filling in, the better the hotspot information becomes. I'm making this video right now because 1, of course I'm excited about this feature. But 2nd, I want to encourage all of you, if you know a hotspot really well, start submitting some good information about that hotspot on its About page. This is going to help so many future birders and might make birding more approachable to beginners in the area, which is just super exciting, and I love that. And to illustrate how this content suggestion works, I'm going to do this on a spot that I know really well. So this hotspot I have up here is on the Jordan River Parkway. It's in the Jordan River in Salt Lake, and it's a great spot, but I don't think a lot of people bird here very frequently compared to a lot of other spots in Salt Lake. And so I figured there would not be a lot of information here. So when I go to the About This hotspot, you can see there's nothing filled out yet. So this is a prime opportunity for me to help other birders who might want to check this place out. So I'm going to click Suggest Content, and then I'm going to select English as my language, and I'll start filling in the quick features thing. So no, it does not have restricted access, no for seasonal access, no entrance fee. Yes, there are restrooms, there is parking. I don't think there's any dedicated accessibility features, but there are paved trails, so I'm gonna leave that unknown because I'm not totally sure. I also don't know what observation structures mean, so I'm gonna do unknown there. Also, scope recommended. No, you definitely don't need a scope here. Birding from car, not really. Beginner friendly? Yes, totally beginner friendly. And then with those suggestions here, I'm gonna say filled in the set of features that I am aware of for this spot, and we'll submit that. And that fills in some suggested information for this spot here. It looks like it auto-accepted my information. This might be because I had over 100 eBird checklists last year. That does qualify you to have information auto-accepted, which there's pros and cons to that for sure, but let's look at some of the other sections and try and fill in some more information on this hotspot. Okay, I feel kind of like a fool that I couldn't figure this out initially, but when you go to suggest content, it is only going to be the feature section unless you add your language like this. You have to hit add language, and then information pops up with the boxes that you can type stuff in. So I'm going to type something in here real quick just to kind of show how it works. I'll probably just do one section for now because I don't have a ton of time to do in-depth research and fill out all the stuff that I know. I'll do the how to bird here. I'm gonna come back to you once I have this filled in. Okay, we're back. As you can see, I filled out a decent amount of information trying to provide some stuff about trails, the river, and just some information about birds that I think would be really cool for people visiting this spot. And so I'm gonna stop here. I'm not gonna fill out the other sections because I do need to get some other stuff done today, unfortunately. But a few things I do wanna illustrate here. In my description, if I mention any specific species, you should definitely look them up. So I'm gonna do northern rough-winged swallow and apply that to this. You do this because these birds could change their name. If there's any taxonomic splits or lumps, these will update automatically if you use the tags. And so it's a very good idea to do this. I'm gonna do the same for the belted kingfisher. And then similarly, if you mention any locations, you can do the same thing with that. Obviously your location won't change, but it'll provide a location on the map for anyone looking at your information to be able to click. And so, okay, you can right click anywhere in Google Maps, click on the coordinates to copy them to the clipboard. I thought there was gonna be a map search, to be honest, but I will flip over to this here. I did mention this specific site, and so looks like I just right click and I got my location. Let's go and fill that in for this trailhead. Then I will hit apply, and that will be mentioned there. And I'm gonna do that to the rest of the locations real quick, and I'll come back to you when I'm done. Okay, I've gone in and actually filled out some information for parking now too. I've gotten my tags for my species listed here. Something like the Bullock's oriole is actually really important to put the species tag because they are moving away to taking names out of bird species names, like Bullock's, for example. So that one could be a likely species to change in the future. I do think I've covered really everything else here. One thing I did notice as I was doing this too, once you have the location once, you can copy and paste it and it'll still have that, which is very nice. So you don't have to like go through the steps every single time to insert a location. Delete that, there we go. And now that I have all of this information here finished that I wanted to submit for this, I will scroll down, add some notes for the editor, filled out parking information, as well as some information about how to get the most out of birding here. And then I will hit submit. And it looks like, again, my information is auto-accepted. It must be because I've submitted enough checklists in the last year, and you can see how it's been filled in. And so, yeah, hopefully this information will help someone else as they approach this hotspot in the future. One thing that's really cool now with my species tags and stuff, if I click that, it'll take me to the species and I can learn more about it. And then if I look at one of my locations, it'll open up the Google Map location. Again, if you ever get confused about what goes in each section, you can click that little question mark and it'll show you what goes there. Also, while you're suggesting content, if you click the question mark up here, that same pop-up's right there. So if you need to figure out if the birding information goes into the plan your visit or the how to bird here, you can look at this. There's also a link to some extra information about eBird Hotspot content, so you don't do anything wrong. One other thing I'll mention as you start suggesting content, it really recommends not to copy and paste from other sources. This should be done with your own research, your own wording. Looking on their website, it might have something to do with violating their community guidelines or their submission guidelines. So yeah, all of the information you submit with this style should be done from your own research, and it should be verified by you as the suggester. So as I've hopefully conveyed throughout this video, I'm super excited about this feature and the potential it brings to help birders, both beginner and experienced alike. eBird has always been about community data and getting people to participate in community science by submitting their checklists and bird species they see, and that data has been incredible for many years. But now there's also an extra community aspect to help the birding community as a whole, which is just so awesome. I can't stop saying how great this is. Because the more people are prepared going to these birding spots, they're more likely to have better experiences there, go birding more often, submit more information about species that we do need to get valuable data on. I think there's a lot of good that could come from this feature release, and I'm really happy Cornell Lab decided to put this out there for everyone to use. One more time, there'll be some resources linked down below for further reading about this new feature, as well as Doug's video, which I did watch myself and helped inform me about this new feature. Hope you enjoyed this one though. Thank you as always for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy birding.